Hello survivors and welcome to today's video. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be going over how you can tame these beauties, the giant queen bee. Because I know a lot of people are trading for them instead of taming them themselves. They're kind of intimidated by going out and taming them, but it's actually quite easy and I think really fun. They're one of my favourite things to tame, the queen bee. So we're going to go over a couple of different maps and a couple of different methods that you can use to get these guys. And also a couple of mistakes that can sometimes be made and how to avoid them, because we all make mistakes when doing it sometimes. I know I certainly do, and you will see that in the video as well. Now obviously they won't all look like this. This one is one that I tamed over the Valentine's event, so she is particularly beautiful. But yeah, I hope you go on to enjoy the video. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe if you're not already. We have loads of Ark content on here and loads more to come. Right, without further ado, let's go and tame some bees. Right, so to tame a bee, there's a couple of things you're going to need. Firstly, you're going to need bug repellent, because otherwise it won't allow you to actually feed it. So I will actually leave a link in the description of the video to the Dododex pages where you can find how to make the bug repellent. And you'll also need a simple kibble. I will also leave a link in the description to the Dododex page for that. You can actually use any kibble that is above simple also. It will take any of those as well. I mean, you can use rare flowers and like mutton and stuff, but it takes more than one feed if you use anything but kibble, and you will just be following it around for ages. So I would definitely recommend kibble if you've got it. So right, I've found this. I'm going to clear out the area around it, and then we're going to try and tame this bee. I'm using a wyvern to crack the hive open, and I have brought med brews just in case. Sometimes on some maps the smaller bees that come out can actually dismount you from your tame, so it can be a bit scary sometimes. It's not so bad on Valguero, so we're going to use the wyvern and crack this open. So not every single hive has a queen bee in it, but after a couple of bites you will see a bigger bee sort of flapping about in there, and you'll know that that one has a queen in it. Got to be careful that when you bite the nest, that doesn't happen. That just happened there. That is so easily done, and so unfortunately that was one too many bites. I've killed the bee on this one, so this was an example of what not to do. Now let's have a look at what to do. So I should also mention at this point that you will have your kibble in your last slot in your hotbar, so that when you come to actually tame the bee, when you're up to it, you'll get a prompt to press Y in order to feed it, just like any other passive tame really. It's a hive. Right, we found another one. Okay, so let's be more careful and not get too overzealous on this one, and see if we can keep this queen alive so we can tame it. It doesn't look to be too dangerous around here, so I don't think there's anything I'm going to have to kill off. The good thing about Valguero is they're always on the ground, or near the ground. They're not up in the redwood trees. There it is, it's out. Okay, let's go grab it. There we go, we got a bee. How easy was that? If you don't kill the queen, it's way easier. Here she is. Isn't she lovely? Yeah! In you go. So when I was taming on Lost Island, there was a hive on top of like a tall tree stump. So I cracked that one open and this bee came out, and I was sure I'd seen another one. So I looked over after podding this one, and yet there's another queen bee. So we got a double whammy on this one. So we got a bonus, which was amazing. And this is where I got my my beautiful pink and white one. So I'm going to follow it for a bit because it's not letting me tame it immediately for some reason. I think it was because it was spouting out all those other little ones at the time. So I think you have to wait until that's finished by the looks of it. That's what seemed to have happened anyway. And so just keep following it and keep trying to sort of spam Y when you're doing it, and there we go, we got her. And so the next example I'm going to show you is going to be on Genesis Part 2. So let's take a look at the method we use for that one. So on this map we have all the gear. We've got our skiff, we've got a box built around it and a tech door on it, we've got a really good shotgun, and they're usually clinging up on the rocks. So they are a bit more difficult to get without using this method. So I'm just going to keep shooting at it, and then I'm going to keep sort of hiding back in my doorway away from the smaller ones that come out that are trying to attack me. And the other handy thing about doing it on this map is you get your element free tech suit. So I've toggled my tech visor by holding X on the control pad and then selecting it. And so every time a hive is near, you'll see it's got like a red outline around it. And now the queen's popped out, so I'm going to use my tech suit to sort of jump over and hit Y, and there we go. We've got another queen bee. We'll just pod that up and we can get her home. So it's as easy as that. It's a lot easier than what you think to tame these guys. So once you've got your giant queen bee, you're going to want to turn it into a hive in order for you to be able to keep producing honey. So you'll see that there is a prompt to press Y to obtain a hive. So let's do that now, and you'll see what happens. There we go. So we now have a beehive. If we go into our inventory, you can see we've got a beehive there. So let's put that into our hotbar, and then we'll see if we can place it down somewhere. And you'll see now, sometimes you see, you'll build a nice place, you'll think this will be my place for my beehives, and then you come around to doing it, and you can't place it there because it can't be placed on a structure. It has to be placed on a natural floor somewhere, so part of the natural foundation of the ark, so nothing that you've actually built yourself. So had we not been at structure limit out the front there, it would have placed on that floor, because that is not something that we've built. So we'll come out this little door here, and you can see it turns green. So I can place it here because this isn't something that we've built, this is something that was already here. So we place it down. We have our own personal beehive. So that will keep producing honey for us, but now we need to feed it. Now you do need to keep them fed, and they do degrade within about 6 days if you don't render them in, even if you've fed them. So they take rare flowers to feed them. So I put a couple of hundred in mine a week usually, and that keeps them going. It may not need 200, but I always like to be on the safe side. And you'll notice when I access the hive how much damage I'm taking. This is my crafting character, I have 100 health. And so I nearly die. So you will take damage every time you access it if you don't use a bug repellent. So I'm going to grab a bug repellent now and show you the difference that it makes. Right, so I'll just take one out. Right, and I would take the bug repellent. Bug repellent lasts quite a long time. You can see the timer down the bottom there. So I'm going to go and access it now with bug repellent on, and they don't harm me at all. So I'm just taking the flowers out to show you how you can get your bee back. So hold Y to get your options wheel up. You go to demolish. The bee will come back. And there was a bug for a while where this wasn't working and you weren't able to get your bee back. Oh my god, it was devastating back in the day, especially when I wasn't sure how, I wasn't that confident at taming bees. I didn't really have a proper method back then, and used to make me nervous every time I had to demolish the hive. But it does work now, you can get your bee back. But I still don't use my very special ones, just in case. I keep them in their pods or out on display. But yeah, and as long as you keep feeding the hives with flowers, you'll keep getting honey, loads of honey. And then when you want your bee back, you just demolish the hive in case you're sort of relocating and you want to move them with you. That's all you need to do. So that was our guide on how to tame a bee and how to keep a bee. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're not already. We have so much Ark content on here. And if there's any advice or tips you have for me that I didn't mention in this video, please let us know in the comments down below, because I'm always willing to learn more about this sort of stuff. So yeah, I hope you all have a great day, guys. Take care.